Well, happy Monday, everyone, and welcome to the morning show right here on Main Street TV, where we have a special guest here today, and then we'll have another special guest here in just a little bit. So welcome.
Thank you very much.
We appreciate the fact that you have survived the snow and ice and all of that. Did you have any fun, like crazy accidents or anything?
I got stuck in my driveway, so that was always fun. And I also built a snowman, and that was actually fun. This is my first snowman.
Did you sing the song while you were doing it?
No. Yeah, I don't know all the words. It would have just been more embarrassing than a full-grown 30-year-old man building a snowman anyway. I tried to get my kid to join. He was not interested.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So, dad's just out building a snowman on his own?
Yeah, well, he's
Love
14.
that.
He's too cool.
Oh, yeah. You suck right now, probably.
Yeah.
Well, welcome, everyone. It is a Monday, and we have our good friend Austin here. We're going to be talking about what his role here at Total Media, and you have a lot to do with the newspaper.
Yep.
And so we thank you for that. So all of these beautiful newspapers that go out, Austin has a hand in all of those. So let's hear a message from one of our friends, and then we'll be back and we'll talk about all things newspaper here in just a minute.
Sounds good.
Would you like to work closer to home, save money on gas, and be rewarded for your hard work and attendance? Then Bellisio Foods is looking for you. That's right, Bellisio Foods is now hiring for multiple positions and shifts with great employee benefits, an on-site health clinic, competitive wages, and advancement opportunities. Bellisio Foods is a company that truly values their employees. Apply online at BellisioFoods.com/careers.
Okay, and we are back with our good friend Austin. So, okay, I guess I'm curious about the snowman. How did it turn out?
Pretty good. I couldn't form a ball and then roll it around like how you see in movies and stuff.
It wasn't working that way.
No, so I just made a giant mound and then just kind of shaped it into a snowman form. Added some sunglasses. I had carrots, luckily, so I got to do the carrot nose. And I named him Frostin'. So there was Austin and Frostin'.
You're good, buddy, Frostin'.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that. That's so good. No, to get that perfect, it just has to be the perfect snow.
Yeah, and it was not working.
It may have been a little cold for that. I don't know.
I guess. Yeah, I don't know the science behind it, but I found a technique and I made it work. Gosh darn it.
As long as you made it work, then it's all good.
Absolutely.
And you got unstuck out of your driveway.
Yeah, with the help of my landlord and his big old plow thing, because I was not going anywhere on my own.
I get it. Totally. Yeah, I thought I was going to be, my husband and I were because our driveway's super long, and we're like, it's okay, we'll just drive over it a couple times, it'll smash the snow down. And no, it just kept getting worse and worse, so I finally had to break down and have someone come and plow it.
I had spent a couple hours shoveling it the day before, and then while I was here the following day, I guess a plow truck came by and it cleared the roads, but then there was a giant pile of snow right in front of my driveway, and I was like, I'll go for it. And no, it didn't work out. No, I immediately got stuck.
We all learn how humbling the snow can be really quickly with this one.
Yeah, absolutely.
We all look like fools out there trying to drive around and walk and everything else. So It's all good. But so tell us a little bit about what your role is here at Total Media.
It's a lot of graphic design work and pagination, which I honestly didn't know what pagination was when I first applied for the job. I was like, I know what graphic design is, and that interests me. But do you know what pagination is? I imagined so.
I believe that is kind of laying out the pages of the newspaper. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's basically just organizing the newspaper and all the articles. What my coworker Christina, the way she puts it as, putting pieces of a puzzle together. It's going to fit.
Tetris.
Exactly. And it was a really good way to think about it. But it's honestly a lot of fun, and it's the first job I've ever had where I get to kind of be creative and get paid for it. And that's what I've always wanted to do. So I'm all in.
Yeah, absolutely. So what is your background? Where have you worked before? How did you learn graphic design?
As far as working, it's been mostly retail and stuff, customer service, but I mean, I've always been interested in art ever since I was like a little kid. So I've, taught myself drawing, painting, and then eventually doing stuff on the computer with like Photoshop and free versions of it and so on and so forth. I've always liked to draw and just entertain people as well. So like, I even made like a YouTube channel doing it and everything. And I was at my last job, just sitting there bored with no customers, scrolling through Indeed, and I saw this. I was like, graphic design? Sure, I'll shoot my shot, and did not think I'd get it. And I sure as heck got it, and I'm thrilled.
There you go. Well, we're thrilled to have you here. Absolutely.
Thanks.
And how's the spider?
Oh, Glenn, he's doing good. He's nice and fat.
So I'm walking through one day and they're all talking about this spider. And I'm like, I don't like spiders, like icky, ew, ew.
Yeah.
But you have a spider named Glenn.
Yep.
So tell everybody about him.
Or
do we know that Glenn is a him?
Yeah. So the reason why I named him Glenn is because I wasn't sure if he was going to be a him or he, or a him or she, because apparently spiders can decide that at some point in their life.
Wait, they pick their own gender?
I guess so.
Okay.
I did not know this until I got him, but they were like, yeah, it looks like he's going to be a boy, but he could switch. And I'm like, okay. So I named him Glenn, and then if we needed to, we could pivot to Glenda. So we had the option.
Yeah. Glenda the good spider.
But I did not like spiders either until I got him. There was it was a reptile expo in Huntington, West Virginia I went to. There was a lady there selling jumping spiders, and I was like, this is really cool because they were actually kind of cute for spiders, which I didn't know was possible, but it is.
I might take umbrage with you on that.
Fair. That's fair.
If it's a spider, it is not cute.
Well,
But he is kind of fun.
Yeah.
So what does a jumping spider do?
They jump. Mm-hmm. But yeah, they instead of like catching prey in like a web, like how you'll see like a big old web with like flies getting stuck in it, they actually will pounce on their prey. So that's how they get the name. Yeah, but they're really, really smart. Like the one at the expo, she could like let us hold it and stuff, and they could like wave at you, and she described them as like really tiny cats. Like they're about as smart as a cat, and like when they're looking at you, they're like processing that you're making eye contact and everything, and it's pretty wild.
This is getting weirder.
Yeah, I didn't know any of that until that day. So
no, that's cool. So do you sit at your desk and like wave at Glenn? And
I try to. He does not wave back. He doesn't really. I don't think he likes me.
There's a lot going on in here. He may be in like sensory overload or something.
He's pretty. I think he's just more indifferent than anything. Like he likes that I feed him and water him. He doesn't. The one at the expo let me like hold it and stuff. He was like, "No, don't touch me. Just let me live in my little cage. Give me some more of those gnats. Those are delicious."
Yeah. So the fun thing about Glenn is like you said, they don't like catch prey in their webs, but he makes himself little spider hammocks.
Yeah, he does.
And he like sleeps in them and stuff. It's
exactly.
pretty fun.
Yeah, exactly. So his cage does have a lot of those little webs in there, but they're not for catching prey. You just jump on those. I get so excited when he catches something too. I was walking to here once, like from my car, and I was just like looking at him because like when I take him out of the car and he's outside, he's like looking around like he's amazed. And I was watching him do that, and then he like saw one of the fruit flies that were in there and pounced on it, and I got so excited I ran into the door. It was a little embarrassing.
That is awesome. So do you actually have to put like stuff in there for him to eat?
In the warmer months, I would like just leave my porch light on and then go like find a moth and put it in there or something.
Okay.
But I actually had to spend $17 on fruit flies from a pet store the other day. And I just they're flightless flies, so I guess they're fruit walks. And I'll just kind of like shake some of those in there. And,
are they alive?
Oh yeah. He doesn't like them if they're dead. He's not interested.
He's got to do something to entertain himself, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Okay, well now you know all about jumping spiders, that they are smart and they make their own little beds to hang out in.
Yeah, I didn't know we'd be learning about that today.
Yeah,
but,
there you go. Okay, so back to newspaper stuff.
Sure.
So tell us, pagination. That is, so funny story. When I was in high school, we had a teacher, Mrs. Evans. Hi. me.
Shout out Mrs. Evans.
And yeah. And she, for one of our projects, we actually had to do a newspaper front page, and she divided us up into groups. And my group won.
Nice, congrats.
We called it the Supreme Extreme, and we did like a tabloid
That's rad.
page.
I love that.
But yeah, so I learned all about that and like, laying it out, and it's way harder than what you would think.
Yeah. During the application process, I tried to teach myself InDesign, which is the program we use, over the weekend.
Yes.
So I kind of got an idea of like how to use it at a very rudimentary level. And then when I came in here, they were like, all right, we need you to make a page for us. And it was so much harder than what I was anticipating to put all the stories together to where it makes sense. But I kind of got the hang of it rather quickly. And now I can knock those pages out.
Pretty quick.
Yeah.
So how does the whole newspaper thing work? So you have like Pete Wilson is the editor, you have Jeremiah and the whole staff over there, Alex and a whole bunch of other people writing stories.
Mm-hmm.
Then do they give them to you and say, I want this on the front page, or I want this on page 2, or how? Then what happens after the stories are written?
I mean, that's pretty close. So Pete makes this thing called a budget. It's basically a Google Doc where he puts each page of the stories on, or each page of the papers on there, and then he puts what story he wants to go on what page. And
So
I'll
he
take
tells you all of that.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I'll try to make it fit the best I can. If something doesn't fit, I'll let him know, or if there's like space left over, I'll also let him know, and he'll move things around as needed, and we just kind of go from there. It's a lot of teamwork, though. It really is.
Yeah, absolutely, and a lot of communication,
For sure.
which for some human beings can be very difficult. I've learned. over
Yeah,
the
yeah,
years.
that's true.
But no, that's really, really cool. And so then is there a lot of artwork that you have to do as well, or?
Not as much on the pagination side, but I do get to like design certain things. Like there's a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year's billboard for Total Media that I got to design, and that was pretty fun.
Cool.
And those are like the main ones I can think of off the top of my head, other than like a couple of the subscribe ads for the Total Media that's also in there. But, they come sporadically. That's my favorite part, though, because, like I said, I really get to be creative with those as long as I follow the guidelines,
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Sucks. There's rules sometimes.
Yeah, it is what they're there for a reason.
Absolutely. But no, I think that, so many people just this newspaper magically appears in your mailbox or, at the convenience store or whatever. And I think a lot of folks don't even think about how that actually comes to be. Mm-hmm. But somebody is actually physically laying that thing out.
Yeah. There's a lot more work into it than what I thought there was even beforehand. Yeah. I remember being a kid and like getting the newspaper and then just drawing on all the faces of the people and stuff. I never once thought that I would be the one putting those faces there.
Yep. And now people are drawing on your work.
Yep. So to that one kid out there drawing mustaches on the old men they see in the paper, I'm looking at you, bud.
Yep. We see you.
Yeah.
We see you.
Keep drawing those mustaches.
And one day you may be laying out a newspaper.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. With your own pet spider.
No, I think that's really, really super cool. And I would say that there's a lot of people that don't even think about how newspapers come to be. So if the newspaper comes out like 2 days a week, how long does it take you to lay this thing out?
Each paper takes about 2 days, really,
Okay.
from start to finish. So we'll try to get most of the paper done, like, for instance, this Wednesday paper. We're going to try to get most of it done today, and then the last 3-ish pages usually are left for the next day because we have to wait for things like the obituaries to come in. They have a deadline. We can't make that page too early because if there's like another death or so, that causes us to rearrange everything. So,
So what happens at the last second when there's some crazy breaking news story that you're like, I've got the whole newspaper laid out, and then boom, something crazy happens?
I've not had to run into that yet. But,
oh, really?
Yeah, not yet, but I'm sure it'll happen.
I just jinxed you.
Yeah, it's going to happen today now.
There will be breaking news today just because Jen messed with you.
Yeah, exactly. But we'll make it work. As long as the paper hasn't actually been submitted for printing, I'll try to get it done as quickly as possible. So like I said, we'll find a way to make it work. Me and Christina are a good team.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And she does great work, and she's one of those that you see on the daily, and she has her hand in the newspaper, and a lot of people don't understand that how much work there is involved in laying it out. So
Yeah, very true.
So we thank you for that.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for the opportunity.
Of course. So what do you think, is there anything else here at Total Media that you would like to get your hands on while you're here?
Oh yeah, this actually, I really like the TV aspect of everything. Like I said, I have my own YouTube channel, The Lemon Squid, by the way, if you want to go check it out.
There you go.
But I've liked art, and I've always liked to entertain. I used to do poorly, but stand-up comedy back in the day. So that's always been something I've been interested in, whether it's in front of the camera or behind the scenes. I'm always down for that. I also used to have a radio show at Marshall University, so
really?
The radio kind of interests me too. This whole place is pretty cool in my opinion.
It is pretty cool.
Yeah.
There's so much, I think, speaking of people don't know how newspapers are put together, but people also don't understand all of the stuff that goes on, in this half of the building.
Yeah.
It is wild.
Yep. And you usually don't think about the production side of things until something goes wrong. Like if you're doing everything right, nobody will notice.
Yeah, it's only when it goes amiss that...
Yeah, exactly. That's when people start thinking about it.
Yeah, you got that right. That's for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Well, is there anything else you'd like to tell our viewers while you're here? We're so happy to have you here.
Not that I can think of off the top of my head. I mean, again, just thanks for the opportunity. I really appreciate it. Again, if you like drawing videos or storytime videos, check out my Lemon Squid. Sorry to plug myself.
Nope. Hey, you do it. Shameless plugs. We love it here.
Yeah, well, go for it. I also make some cartoons on there. But other than that, keep supporting Total Media.
That's right. And if you ever need to see a jumping spider, Glenn is at his desk.
Yeah, I'll post some pictures of him on my Instagram. Also, the Lemon Squid. So that's how you can find me.
Where did you get the lemon squid?
I like the name idea of two random words kind of sounding good together, and I have always liked to draw squids. They're just kind of interesting.
Sure.
My girlfriend at the time, but now fiance, her gamer tag at the time was Lemon Toaster. So I just kind of, after a bunch of different name combinations, that's the one that stuck for me.
The lemon squid. So, fun fact, and I love that you said that of two random... two random words being put together. That's where sometimes beer names at the 6th Sense Brewery come to be.
Sometimes they just have a nice ring
together.
to them.
Does it make any sense? No.
Yeah, exactly.
And then there are other beer names that I could tell you, but I would have to kill you what they mean.
Yeah, those are the strong ones.
Yes. Yeah, those are the ones that, I mean, I could tell you, but sometimes you just don't want to know why something's named that way.
Yep, that's for sure. Are you much of a beer drinker? I'm
oh,
not. Yeah.
Unfortunately, yes, I love beer.
I'm a big old baby when it comes to it. I've always thought it was kind of icky.
Well, you hang out with me for very long, and we'll find you something you like.
Yeah, I've heard the 6th Sense has really good options. So that if I were to try it out, that would be where I would go.
Yep, you just let Jen get hold of you, and I will. You'll come out a beer drinker.
All right.
I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but
yeah. Are you a positive influence?
Yeah, right. You will come out liking beer.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's good. Yeah. Oh well. Well, Austin, thank you for coming in this morning and sharing, your role here at Total Media, because it is so much fun to find out all of the different things that people do individually to put this whole team together.
Yeah, no problem. This was a blast. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Come back anytime.
Will do.
Okay, sounds good. All right. Well, we do have another guest waiting in the wings. We're going to find out about something very fun that the Jaffe Committee is putting on. And but first of all, we have a message, and then we'll be back.
At Vinton County National Bank, we believe in supporting the areas where we live and work. Now, we'd like to honor those who also serve our communities. Our new Community Champions account is especially for first responders, veterans, active military, and anyone employed in the fields of healthcare or education. This account offers rewards, discounts, and other benefits to those who give so much to others. Vinton County National Bank, rewarding those who serve.
All right, and we are back with our good friend Mitch Costilow, who is here to talk about some fun things you have going on.
Yes, here to talk about the upcoming Jaffe Spring Dance.
Can you believe it's like, I mean, I feel like you were just here talking about the spring dance last year.
Yes, and it's coming up.
That is wild.
March 15th. It's going to be St. Patrick's Day weekend. So we're going to have a St. Patrick's Day theme, of course. We'll have, green and white decorations, that kind of thing. Excellent place to come on a Saturday night to celebrate your St. Patrick's Day. Mm-hmm. The way we do it, we sell reserved corporate tables. A lot of companies get on that because it's advertising. They can write it off.
Sure.
And it's $300 for a corporate reserve table with advertising. Comes with 8 seats, 8 tickets. We also sell a reserve ticket or a reserve table for $200. Of course, there's no advertising, but still you have the same reserve table.
Okay.
And 8 tickets.
For 8.
Yep.
Okay.
And then we also sell individual tickets at the door for $30.
Okay. So regardless, you have a place to hang out.
Yes.
Yeah.
One thing that's made it really popular, it's kind of a BYOB. You bring your own food, your own drinks,
Your snacks.
whatever you want. Yeah, so you see a variety. You'll see anything from a bag of chips to a full course meal set out. You just never know what people will bring.
You know, and that is exactly right. And it's almost like entertaining in itself to see what people do with their tables.
Yes.
Because you're exactly right. You know, people will come in with a pizza or they'll come in with this like full blown out meal thing going on.
And you mentioned pizza. We've had people have pizzas delivered there.
I mean, it would
Yeah.
make sense.
Yeah.
Why not?
They don't have to pack it in, don't have to pack it out.
Exactly. And who doesn't like a good pizza, right?
Right.
And God knows we have plenty of it around here.
And usually we make an evening of it. We stop, beforehand and eat dinner here in town.
Yeah.
And then go down, and it runs from 8 to 12. So,
Okay,
it's
8 to
usually
midnight.
after dinner, and it's just a good time.
So this is so let's back up for a minute and talk about Jaffe. And you all have been putting this dance on for, oh my gosh.
I know it's at least 20 years, possibly 25.
I was going to say it's been a long
Yeah.
time. And this is kind of a fundraiser for you. But let's talk about like some of the things that Jaffe does and why, you should get out and support this.
Yeah.
It's not, I mean, it's fun, but like there's a reason for it too.
Right. Of course, Jaffe is a 501c3. We're a nonprofit organization. Every dime that goes into Jaffe goes back into the community. Mm-hmm. And we do Christmas projects. We give toys and clothes and that kind of stuff to underprivileged kids at Christmas time. We do several food drives throughout the year. Another thing we put on for Jackson, you may have heard of, the Apple Festival.
That little thing called the Apple Festival,
Yes.
that little thing.
Yeah. But we do several things in the community throughout the year.
Yes, you do. And of course, those food drives that are so much needed, for people in our community as well.
And it's getting where grant monies and that kind of thing is becoming less and less. So
Is it?
Yeah, we're having to come up with more and more money to do the food drives and keep people fed.
And that is the goal, is to make sure that nobody in our community doesn't have something to eat. We're a small knit community, and we try to take care of each other.
Right, and Jaffe, or prior to Jaffe, the JCs have been in Jackson doing this stuff for years and years and years.
Absolutely.
I personally joined in '83, and there's a lot
few
of guys there
years
before
ago.
I got there. Yeah. But this dance is a super good time, and it will, if it don't sell out on tables, it will completely fill the room. But last year we sold, I think, 40 tables.
Wow.
I mean, it draws a crowd, and probably 80 to 90% of the people there are the people that came last year and the year before and the year before, because people just schedule it.
So much fun.
Yes.
It is absolutely so much fun. So let's talk about the logistics of the Jaffe Spring Dance. Where is it?
It is at the Memorial Building
Okay, in the auditorium.
in the
there.
auditorium.
Okay, and then will you still have Rick K, or do you have
Yes.
another?
Oh no, we'll have the Rick K road trip. We discussed at one time switching bands several years ago, and people were going to hang us. I mean, they just love it.
Yeah, they are so much fun, and they sing like all kind of different stuff.
Yes, anything from 50s, 60s, 70s up through now. I mean, they have a wide range, very energetic, very fun, crowd-oriented band. They're really good.
You got that right, and they trust me, you will be entertained.
Yes, yes. I've never had anybody leave there and say, "Hey, we didn't have fun tonight." I mean, it's just a good time.
There's something seriously wrong with you if you would leave and say that. So, I wonder how, like, who came up with the idea for the spring dance?
Donovan Workman was actually the first
Really?
chairman of it. He's the one that started this idea.
Such a good idea, and I mean. So here's the thing, though. You never, I mean, even if things are a good idea and they work well for a couple years, a lot of times they just kind of fizzle out over the years. Not this one.
No, not this one. That's Donovan actually moved away on us. That's how I became the chairman, because he moved away, and we thought we can't let this go. People love
no
it too
way.
much. It's too fun. It's a good fundraiser for us. It's just something you don't want to lose, because that time of the year, everyone's been cooped up all winter in the snow and whatever have you, and they're ready to get out
Yeah.
and have some fun, and that's a good way to break into spring right there.
Yes, it is. So the Apple Festival is, obviously has been going on now for what,
82 or 83?
Yeah, something like that,
Yeah.
years. Had to miss a couple only because of, that little thing called the global pandemic, and then I think World War II.
Yep.
That little thing
Yeah,
called
yeah.
World War II. And the Apple Festival has been going strong for 80 some years here in the downtown streets of Jackson. And I wonder sometimes if people understand the festival that you all put on. And what I mean by that is it is a huge amount of work, but B, it is just a huge festival, and I don't know that people understand how many people it brings back to the community and all of that.
We have, on occasion, had crowd counting people. The biggest year that they gave us a figure on, the year that we had the OSU band in the parade.
Oh my gosh, that was so cool.
Yeah, they estimated 120,000 people on the parade route.
That day.
Yeah, that night for the
In
parade.
downtown Jackson.
Yes. So yeah, it draws a crowd from everywhere.
It does. I think so. I don't know. I probably haven't gotten to tell you this story, but this is God's honest truth. There was a dude. We opened the brewery. We're not open on Wednesdays, but we opened during the Apple Festival on Wednesday, so people could come in and have a place to watch the parade and whatever they wanted to do, have a drink or eat or whatever. And this guy walks in, and you can pretty much tell quickly if people are local or not local, or if they're, looking around or whatever. So I strike up this conversation with this guy. He comes to the bar and he's trying some of the beers and all that. And I said, he said, I'm not from here. I said, how did you end up in Jackson, Ohio? And he said, well, I was driving down the road and I love to look for just cool landmarks of different areas. And he said, the Apple Tower popped up. And he was like, so I'm driving down the highway, and so I hit, the map to go to this Apple Tower. Well, he just wanted to come to the Apple Tower, but the Apple Festival is going on. So he was like, so I come in, I see this Apple Tower, and then you guys have this incredible festival going on. I was like, dude, you hit it right at the right time. He's like, and then I found this brewery on top of it. He's like, this is the coolest town ever. And he was just going on and on about it. But can you imagine just driving into town and you're thinking you're going to just see this Apple Tower, and then you drive into this Apple Festival.
One of the biggest festivals in Southern Ohio.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. And he was just ecstatic. He just thought the whole thing was so cool. Yeah. And at that point, I guess my reason for telling you this is it was like my heart was swelling with pride because I'm like, yeah, some guy just drove into town, ran randomly into this festival, and is just beaming with excitement about it. And I was so proud.
Yeah, we're pretty proud of our little festival too.
You should be.
Yeah, we've been at it a while.
And it's like magical. Like the thing, it just magically happens and then it magically goes away.
Yeah.
I mean, for the rest of us, not for
Yeah.
you, because you all have to work the whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah, but come Sunday evening after it's over, I mean, you go through town, you can't see that it's ever happened.
Yep. Other than the faint smell of a fair and festival French fry.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
Yeah, we can live with that.
Yeah, that's not a bad smell. So, okay, so other than, that little thing called the Apple Festival that you guys put on, and I know that, we talked about the food drive a little bit, but tell us, Jaffe is Jackson Area Festival and Events. That's what it stands for. Let's get into a little bit of detail on what some of the other projects, I know you mentioned them, but let's kind of talk about that.
Of course, in the summer, we do a Jeeping for Joy, which is a Jeep ride, kind of like a poker run type situation, which the money for that goes to the Christmas projects to,
Yes.
to start. There's a lot of kids in this county, and there's a lot of people that have to be bought for, and time you spread it out, it takes a lot of dollars. It really does.
It does, and so many people I don't think understand, how many kids are in need out there.
Right. There are a lot more than people would. I know a lot of the teachers and that they see it every day,
Yep.
but a lot of people don't. They don't see what's really out there.
Yeah, and so you all do the Jeepin' for Joy as a fundraiser, which it's a really cool event. Like you get in your Jeeps and you ride from place to place, and it's just a ginormous. He's very popular.
Yeah. You also don't know how to turn your right.
But no, it's a really, really cool event. Everybody loves to ride in their Jeeps, and then this is like an organized Jeep ride thing.
That's one of the nice things I like about Jaffe is pretty much anything that we do that's a fundraiser to fund anything is also fun. I mean, it's enjoyable.
It's
the
a
Jeep rides.
fundraiser.
There you go. Exactly.
I just came up with
Yeah.
that. But no, you're exactly right. So people love to go out riding their Jeeps. That's a fun thing. So it's win-win for everybody. You're having a great time, plus you're earning money for to help our local youth with Christmas.
And that's one of their favorite things about the spring dance. I mean, everyone has a really good time, and yet the money is going back to the community to help the kids, to help the food drives, that type of thing.
You got it. So I have two questions. The Christmas stuff that you guys do, how can people get involved or participate in that? Or if you are in need, how would you reach out to get some help?
Dale Wetzel and his wife typically run the Christmas projects.
Okay.
They have several members of Jaffe that help buy toys, divide up toys, that kind of stuff. And I'm not exactly sure how they even sign up for it. That's not one that I've worked on a whole lot as far as the.
You're like, I run the dance. That's enough.
Between that and the Apple Festival, I work with it. But like I said, I think mostly they get their information from the schools. I think they do advertise prior to Christmas, to call, give phone numbers or what have you to get a hold of them. As far as helping, they do sometimes need help sorting toys, buying toys. But be honest, the main thing they need help with is donations.
Yeah.
I mean, because,
Money.
we have to go out and buy this stuff. The toys aren't being donated to us. We have to go buy them.
And this is run kind of like a well-oiled machine, and sometimes it's easier just to contribute funds, if you can, to this, and let you guys have got it all organized, and let you all go out and shop and do all of that, and it makes it kind of a little bit easier there. So if you do want to help or whatever, get hold of a Jaffe member. They're not hard to find.
No, there's plenty of us.
and help out along the way. So tell me, this is from a personal standpoint, I guess. You said you joined back then. It was the JCs in 1983, a few years ago.
Yep.
So how has the Apple Festival evolved since 1983? You know, what are some of the things that have changed or gotten harder or easier over the years?
Well, I don't know. Sometimes it's stuff that we always took for granted that is a little harder to get cooperation with nowadays because anybody else. I mean, your governments, your organizations, your everything is tighter than it used to be. It
More
seems
rules and regulations, I would think, right?
Yeah. Since the Tyler's Law came out, I don't know if you've heard of it.
No, what's that?
Remember when a boy got killed up at the Ohio State Fair?
I do remember that.
Well, they came out with Tyler's Law to check the rides. They check the rides. They inspect the rides. It's crazy how strict it is.
Okay.
And a few years ago, 2021, we lost our ride company. So we decided, or we went shopping for a new ride company, and we found out that anybody not from Ohio won't come to Ohio because of the Tyler's Law.
Okay, so it's like a double-edged sword because Tyler's Law should be in effect. You know, somebody should never lose their life on a carnival
ride.
ride.
Absolutely.
Like, that is insane. And albeit that ride, they were saying, or from what I remember, I don't know that there was any inspector that would have ever caught what happened to that ride because it was kind of buried underneath, like some nuts and bolts were rusted and whatever. But so it makes it a little bit. It's good to have the regulation for people to inspect the rides, and we understand that. But it's also hard when you're trying to find a ride company that they don't want to come here.
Yeah.
Because the inspections are so difficult.
And I will say this, prior to Tyler's Law, we had inspectors come every year. When they set up the rides, we have
Absolutely.
state inspectors come every year when they set them up. I mean, that's not anything different, but like one ride company we talked to, they had a ride black flagged because they had rust on the lid of a toolbox. And so they shut the ride down. And so they got a little carried away. And, you know, it wasn't anything mechanical, obviously.
Toolbox that's weird.
It's built onto the trailer, the toolbox is.
Okay.
It had some rust on the lid, so they shut down the ride. It's like, you might be getting a little carried away there.
Yeah, like somewhere in the middle, you come up with this happy medium here?
I mean, we're obviously all about anything they can do safety. We're 100% safety, you know. You put on a big festival.
Well, of course, it reflects back on you guys if, something would happen. So,
Yes.
And I'm just going to be honest, unfortunately, the older I get, my stomach says no to all of these rides. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I don't ride much anymore either.
Yeah, my stomach goes, ugh. I
go
don't
to-
think so.
I go to the festival to eat.
Yes, that
They
is
have the
much
food.
better.
Yes.
But can I ask you what happened to? Oh, see, it was the Bates company, right? Did they retire or?
They had 2 units, and they got down small enough that they merged into 1 unit. And then they'd always done our festival plus a fair at the same time. Well, then they did. At that time, fairs were allowed to operate a lot of times when festivals weren't. County fairs, for some reason, got the green light ahead of festivals.
Really?
So they dropped us and went with the county fair because they figured it was guaranteed money, and let us know in July when the festival was in September. So
Stop.
yeah, you talk about scrambling. We scrambled, but we got it to happen.
I don't know how I'd never heard that one before. Wow. So, so the new ride company, who are they?
Big O, they're called.
Okay. And they have come in graciously and of course, and it's actually kind of fun though, because nobody likes change and everybody likes change. So, with the change of the rides come new different rides, come new different food vendors and all of that stuff. So it's been kind of fun, honestly, to have some change a little bit.
He's had some new bigger rides, and he's also the Kiddieland. I think the Kiddieland has a lot more than what we had before.
Sure.
But they've been great to work with. We're happy that we got them.
Yeah, absolutely. And, but yeah, that is stressful. And I know this doesn't have anything to do with you, but when all of these regulations started, and we had like the Jackson County Fair had to scramble the one year to try to find somebody, and kind of got taken down the road a bit for that. And I thought that was ridiculous, considering the fact that they did the best that they could. When somebody cancels, the week before or whatever,
Right.
that's not real easy to find somebody.
Yeah, people don't realize what they're up against in that situation.
And when you talk about something as ginormous as the Apple Festival, this is a year-round planning
Oh yeah. So
thing.
by the time it's over this year, we'll be planning for next year for sure.
Right. And people don't understand that. It magically happens for all of us that don't have our hand in it. It doesn't magically happen for you. It's a year-round event
Yes, there's
for the
a lot goes
Jaffe
into it.
Committee. So, I was just curious, can you talk about like how the entertainment is chosen? Because I think this is kind of cool.
Well, we have a booking agent that we deal with, and he gives us a list of everybody and their prices and what have you, which we got to, figure out obviously what works in our budget.
Which, the Apple Festival is a little different than, say, like a concert, because it's free.
Yeah.
It's not free for you all to put
Right,
it
but
on.
we
It's
can-
free, though, for the public. So you're not earning your money back
Right.
with these artists.
Yes.
You can't sell tickets
Nope.
to an open street.
It's absolutely free to come and watch.
So I wanted to point that out.
We've gotten lucky a few times. We booked our booking agent found this band that was starting to do pretty good, and because we book sometimes up to a year ahead.
Right.
And this band, they said it was up and coming, and they up and came, and we had Lady Antebellum here for cheap.
I remember that in Little Big Town, too,
Little
right
Big
before
Town,
that.
yes.
And they hit it
Yep.
big right before they came here.
Low Cash has hit it pretty big.
Yep.
So we've had some good groups come through here. We've had a lot of older singers that are not as popular possibly as the big stars, but they were in their day, and they're still really good and put on really good shows.
But those are great because those are sing-along shows.
Yeah.
That all the words to all their songs and whatever. And I think back about, when I used to go down there and interview the entertainment and stuff, and I remember the Kentucky Headhunters were so much fun.
They were fun.
Oh, they were so cool. And the guys from Confederate Railroad are a lot of fun. And, sometimes when you do get those artists that have been around the block a time or two, they're just out having fun with it now. They've done their thing and they've earned their money and they're just having a good time.
Aaron Tippin, I think, was one of the nicest guys I ever talked to. He's super nice.
That's
Him
awesome.
And Cletus T. Judd, he was super nice also.
Okay, I could see that. I didn't get to interview either one of them, so I didn't get to meet them, but unfortunately. So when you choose the entertainment, so have you chosen the entertainment for next year yet?
I don't know. I'd have to.
That's not
talk to-
your bag, huh?
Yeah, it's not. I'd have to talk to the entertainment chairman or the Apple Festival president. They'd be the ones in on that, and so I don't know yet who the entertainment is.
Gotcha. And how do you guys pick who's the president of the Apple Festival and all that stuff? Do you vote?
We
Or?
vote on it. It's,
Okay.
It's usually a person that's worked their way up and been on the board of directors for a while, and
Sure.
and been through a few festivals. And
Yeah, you don't just get to be Apple Festival president and not know what you're doing. You kind of need to be organized and
because a lot of it falls on the president.
Sure it does.
We have a new president this year, and he'll get to find out how busy he's going to be.
yeah.
I know when I was president, starting about May, my phone rang all day, every day. It's just
Isn't that
something.
wild?
Yeah.
It's crazy. And again, this is a year-long thing. So what all right, so back to the spring dance, because here's the deal. We want you all to come out, have a good time, support Jaffe, support their, Christmas drive, support the Apple Festival and all of the things that they do for the community throughout the years. How do people go about getting those corporate tables or tickets?
That's super easy. You call
Okay.
me. My name is Mitch Costilow. Call me at 740-418-0195. And I can hook you up with the corporate tables, reserve tables, tickets, whatever you want.
Okay.
Like I said, the dance, food-wise, all BYOB, bring your own food, bring your own drinks, and you see everything across the board on that. And also people will ask things like what to wear. Well, you'll see everything. You'll see
Oh, you can wear an evening gown or you can wear your pajama pants. We don't care.
Absolutely. You will see everything
Just come
across
and have
the board.
fun.
And it's pretty dark in here, so nobody cares. Nobody sees you anyway.
Yeah, it just depends on, I can see like tables even coming up with like a theme.
Yeah.
Or something.
It happens, yes.
That would be fun.
Yep, like a Margaritaville theme or something
Yeah.
to that effect. Yes, it happens.
For sure.
Quite a bit. We'll have everything from line dancers to, maybe guys just stand over in the corner and chat.
Yeah.
Usually the wives are up dancing and the guys are standing along the wall kind of thing.
Kind of like the 8th grade dance.
Exactly.
Same thing,
Yeah.
just a little older.
But there's stuff for everybody to do. I mean, you're going to see a million of your friends. There's well, not a million, but there's usually 300 to 400 people.
Yep.
And just mingle for the evening. Yeah.
Listen, life is hard, and just come out and have some fun and do it for a great cause. Why not?
Yes, absolutely.
And again, that's March
March 15th.
15th.
Saturday night.
Saturday night, March 15th at the Memorial Building Auditorium there. And it will be from 8 to midnight. So you have plenty of opportunity to come out and have a great time.
Yes, you do.
Will you come back and remind our viewers, or at least give us a ring and remind everybody that the dance is coming up and that tickets can they be bought right now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, I just picked them up this morning from Zip System.
Hey,
Yeah.
see, very cool. All in one building, right?
Yep.
All right. Well, Mitch, thank you so much for coming in. We greatly appreciate it. And best of luck to you. And thank you for doing what you all do in the Jaffe organization as well.
And thanks for having me.
Of course, anytime. All right. I think we do. Do we have another message? All right. And we'll be back. Jeremiah just came in and we'll be doing some news. So we'll see you in just a second. All right. Well, if you all are wondering kind of what the weather forecast looks like this week, well, it's kind of all over the place. Doesn't look like a lot of warmth. We will get maybe a little bit of thaw today with highs around 33, lows of 11. But if we can make it to the weekend, it looks like that's our best chance to kind of get some of this junk out of our way, hopefully. But definitely cold on a Tuesday and Wednesday, down into the single digits overnight. So make sure you check on your friends, your neighbors. Make sure if you have pipes that tend to freeze, maybe keep that water running, all of that. Because when you start talking about single digits, we start talking about a lot of trouble. So there you go with the weather. And again, hopefully some thawing by the end of the week. So we'll keep our fingers crossed for that. All right, we are back with our good friend Jeremiah.
I just want to say on the we need some thawing for sure.
We do.
You talked about the pipes and stuff because of the cold weather. With all the heavy snow that we had from Winter Storm Blair, I tell you something else you need to watch. And I have this at my house: ice dams at your gutters.
Yes.
Be sure to look at that. I haven't really had to deal with that since being a homeowner, and it's a bit of a mess. Like I was out there standing, up on my gutter with a pitcher of hot water, trying to get some of that ice melted because all that snow had packed down.
Yep.
And the whole gutter is nothing but, it's just like this thing of ice on top. And then it slopes back into your roof.
Yep.
And where that snow's melting, all that water's just laying there.
Yes.
And you know what happens then? It can get down into
leaches,
your
leach
leach
down
through.
into your We
And,
actually had that happen at the tap room. It started
It's-
leaking inside. We were like,
What is happening?
is happening?
Yes.
And it was going down in between the two bricks, in between the wall.
So I noticed that happening. So we used to have, we have an overhang from like the main house. We had a front porch with an overhang, and it used to leak, but we had a new roof put on. after that windstorm a couple years ago.
Yes, yep.
And it stopped leaking. Well, I noticed it
You're like, oh no.
it started doing it. It had done that, like you said, it somehow found its way down in
Water
there.
will find its way.
It will find its way. So I was out there yesterday afternoon, trying to get up on ladders and trying to just unthaw. Like I said, I kept taking pictures of hot water out.
Yep.
And just slowly doing it, and I was able to form a hole in the ladder part, and then I was able to get it to run underneath, and then you could hear it, like it'd make it all the way down.
Yeah.
And then I was able to get it out the other end. So hopefully, like you said, these warm temperatures will warm that out a little bit.
Keep our fingers crossed these warm temperatures can move this stuff on.
Yeah.
For sure.
So I'm usually Pete Wilson's here.
Yeah, well, we're happy to have you here.
Yeah, he got me this morning. So he gave me his stack, and I cut his stack in half and said, "Here, you take this, and I'll take that." And so this is what I have. The reason he's not in this morning is because of the first thing I'm going to touch on.
Yes.
A trial of Jackson County murder defendant Stephen A. Kaiser is supposed to start today.
Already? That's a pretty fast trial.
Kaiser is charged with shooting his estranged wife, Tara Carpenter Kaiser, and that was in October 2024. And for those watching on the TV, we have his mugshot there. That is Stephen A. Kaiser. This morning, they're supposed to be doing jury selection.
Okay.
And they weren't expecting that to take very long. So, opening arguments and stuff could get underway, before lunch. So that's why Pete's not here. He's kind of waiting in the wings to see if, he needs to, hightail it up there to the court to find out about that. So we'll be watching that this week. They had Jackson County Common Pleas Court Judge Christopher J. Regan had scheduled his jury trial the 13th, which is today, through the 15th. And a pretrial proceeding was conducted back December 19th, 2024, so this past year. And, they had done some of that pretrial work that they always do prior to trials.
Sure.
And do you want me to recap what it is?
Well, yeah,
just as a refresher.
I'm curious as to, because I don't remember what the charges are, what he's I know that his wife ended up passing from the injuries that she received.
Yeah, so Kaiser, 37, of Jackson, he's charged with 1 count of murder, 5 counts of felonious assault, 1 count each of discharge of a firearm on or near a prohibited premises, having weapons under disability, and violating a protection order. It says there's also a total of 15 firearm specifications attached to the charges, which could increase the penalties for conviction on those related charges.
So he is charged with murder?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, 1 count of murder. And, all those charges were filed in connection to incidents that occurred. It was on Saturday evening and early Sunday morning, October 19th and the 20th, 2024, on or near 4 Mile Road in Franklin Township. And Kaiser is charged with shooting and killing his estranged wife. And they're saying he had a semi-automatic assault rifle type weapon. And it says Kaiser also was in it was like a 5-hour plus standoff with law enforcement out in that area.
Yeah,
I
if y'all
remember I was
remember,
listening on scanner traffic to make sure everything was said and done before I went to bed. I was
nobody
up to
really knew where he went.
Yeah, he kind of took off, and it's wooded out through there, and kind of bedded down, and then they finally found him, but he was still armed, so there was a bit of a standoff that went on with that. So anyway, that'll be starting this week, and we will be covering it here at the Telegram.
Okay.
So a little bit on that.
Interesting. Don't see that every day in Jackson County, do we?
It's been a while since we've had something of that nature come through. I mean, there's probably been others, but that high of level here. With all the snow that we had from Winter Storm Blair, I reached out to our local superintendents and asked the question. I said, do snow days equal makeup days?
Okay, fair question.
Okay. And, we had the combination of heavy snowfall from Winter Storm Blair, along with the frigid temperatures and the icy back roads, and it resulted in several snow days in our area districts here in Jackson and Benton counties. And so I sat down and I counted. So during the week, this was Monday, January 6th through Friday, January 10th. Wellston City Schools missed 5 days.
Okay.
Oak Hill Union Local Schools and Benton County Local Schools missed 4 days.
Okay.
Jackson City Schools missed 3 days and had 1 2-hour delay. And as a result of those weather conditions, some of these school districts may have to eventually make up time they missed in the future. So I learned that Wellston City Schools, Oak Hill Union Local Schools, and Benton County Local Schools all have 5 calamity days.
Okay.
Okay. So Wellston's done. They've used up all their calamity days. So if they miss any more snow days in the future, they will have to start making up days.
Gotcha.
Now, there's a few days in Wellston that's already set aside for that. And their makeup days in Wellston are Monday, February 17th and Monday, April 21st. And if they ended up having to use both of those, they will start tacking on days at the end of the school year in Wellston. So that's where they are there. Now in Oak Hill and Benton County, they have 5 calamity days as well. Both of them are at 4. At first, I thought Oak Hill was at 5, but they're only at 4 because on the Monday of the snow event, they were out for like it was like one of those in-service days.
Oh, so they weren't there
students weren't
anyway.
there
I got
anyway,
ya.
so they kind of lucked out.
Yeah.
So they only had 4, and then Benton County was out Monday through Thursday, but went back on Friday, so they're at 4. And their makeup days there after they use up that 5th one, that's very similar. Oak Hill will be January 20th, February 17th, and April 21st. And then if they need to have additional days, they will be tacked on at the end of the year.
Okay.
Same thing in Benton County. They have February 17th, April 21st, and April 22nd set aside, and then they can tack on at the end of the year if needed. Now, Jackson City Schools is a little bit of a different beast, I come to find out after
Really?
Phil Howard wrote me a book on how they handle things in Jackson. I'm serious, out of all the responses I got back. And I love Phil. He's a great superintendent. He's very thorough when he explains stuff, and I like that he's thorough. He told me that he says that they don't. It's not days per se. They are in the terms of like hours. At Jackson City School, and I don't understand why. Maybe the other ones are that way too, but they still have it built as days instead of like the hours.
Okay.
And he said that the state used to give all districts 5 days off for calamity or inclement weather, and he said once you reach those, you had to make it up, which is similar to the other 3 school districts we just talked about. And he said that a few years ago they started doing a number of hours because some districts have longer days than others.
Okay.
And he said that now the minimum number of hours is 910 hours in a year for elementary age students and 1,001 hours for high school age students in a school year.
Okay.
And he said, given that they're now on hours instead of days, every district has a different amount of time in their school day. There's not really any limit as to how many days you can miss, as long as you still meet that minimum number
Get the
of
hours in.
Get the hours
Okay.
in, he says. He said now even 2-hour delays have to be taken into consideration because of the hours thing. And he basically boiled it down for me. He said, this is based on the collective bargaining agreement they have, the union contracts, the language that addresses those days. He says Jackson City School District's language for the collective bargaining agreement says that teachers will be paid for the first 5 days that schools are closed due to calamity. He says days 6 through 8 that schools are closed due to calamity shall be remote learning days conducted from the teacher's home or from the teacher's assigned building as determined by the superintendent. It says any additional days beyond those 8 days will have to be made up.
Okay.
So Jackson kind of gets off lucky. They've
Interesting.
only had 3 plus a 2-hour delay, but they're allowed 5 plus 3 remote.
3 remote days.
So they got a little bit before they would have to make up anything.
Yeah.
And
Well, let's just, I'm all about the snow and whatever occasionally, but let's just pray we don't have this happen again.
yeah, no.
Over it.
Hopefully, we don't have any more big snows like
Yeah.
this, and
Totally
we can
over it.
squeak into spring here without
Yeah.
much more. I mean, like we had the little snow event over the weekend. We got
Yeah.
maybe 2 inches or something, maybe
Yeah.
3 at the most, but it all melted off pretty quickly.
Yep.
And but anyhow, Phil said, which I already touched on this. He said the first 5 days will not be made up. Days 6 through 8 will be remote, and any days after that would have to be made up because of the way the collective bargaining agreement is.
Okay.
So
Makes sense.
anyway, kind of interesting read. I got this finished up, and thankfully we didn't have any closures today. So we should have this in our Wednesday edition if you want to
Okay.
read it in its entirety.
Yep. That way
So-
you can, really get the skinny on what your particular school
Yeah.
district is doing.
Yeah, it's a nice little touch. I know we're out of time. Let me scan here to see if there's anything. Real quick, I want to touch on this because it's kind of the talk of the town. The Jackson Zoning Board is considering a request involving a proposed Starbucks coffee shop
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
in the city of Jackson. How about that? So Starbucks is a little guilty pleasure of mine when we go on shopping trips. And, like when we go down to Barbersville or Lancaster, I always have to get my Starbucks and go into Target and do some shopping. And I don't know how I feel about it being locally because it's going to spoil things for me,
Yeah, it won't be as big of a treat,
Yeah,
right?
it won't be as big of a treat. I mean, because I enjoy it, My go-to is always a white chocolate mocha, hot.
Okay.
During the winter months, and then sometimes I'll get it as a cold, during the summer months, or I'll get it like a frappe. But anyway, that's supposed to be happening tonight. They will have the Jackson City Planning Commission and the Jackson City Board of Zoning Appeals will meet tonight, Monday evening, January 13th, in the Jackson City Council chambers, and the Planning Commission is at 6:15, and they're meeting to consider a 3-phased parcel change request, and that involves a address at 28 Huron Street. And then the Board of Zoning Appeals will meet at 6:30, and that is to go over the conditional use for the parcel regarding the Starbucks coffee shop. And
I wonder why. What's it zoned for that they have to have a change in zoning?
I don't know.
Like, it just seems like a commercial property.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, why is it?
If you remember, I mean, all that was out there. Was it Meridian or Marilat, Goodyear? I don't know which one that is out there, but I know Pete was talking to the person involved with this morning, trying to get some more detail on where it was going to be. It kind of sounded like it was setting near where the McCarty Lane Crossing Center is there. Mm-hmm. Like that access road that takes you down to the new HERS facility.
So is it on that side of the road or
It's
on
it
the
sounded
West
like it was
Banco
on
side of the road?
It's on that side of the road.
Okay.
It sounded like on the left side of that access road.
That's what I thought too
Was
when I
my-
looked up the address.
Yeah, it was my understanding.
Yeah.
So like you got Casa Grande, and then they have where they're supposed to build Tuscany at some time in the future, and then after that, I don't know if it's like near there or behind that parcel is where
Interesting.
Starbucks I think is going to be with like a park. It'll have parking and everything.
And I don't know either. Are Starbucks? I assume they're all company owned.
Yeah, Pete has more detail on
Okay.
that, and
We'll find out. We'll
I'm
let
sure
you know.
he'll learn more on that tonight after that meeting.
Okay.
I know he touched base with the person that's supposed to be there tonight for that, but anyway, both those meetings are open to the public, and then
Sure.
following that, they will have a Jackson City Council meeting tonight.
Okay.
So, hate that I didn't get into more, but that's okay. That'll leave Pete more to talk about later.
Oh yeah, we have more Kenneth Sims news.
Yeah, he can touch on that.
Yeah.
He just there's just been a few little changes. A new attorney appointed.
No.
Is
So I think this is
arrest warrant for
What's
him.
this? The sixth
so
one or something?
I've lost count. I mean, this has been going on for a couple years now, and but yeah, that was some recent news there towards the end of 2024. There was supposed to be a 2-day trial in Jackson County. Back in October 2024, he didn't appear.
He didn't show up.
They issued a warrant for his arrest. And then since he failed to appear, his attorney, Gene Meadows, filed a motion to withdraw from being his attorney, his counsel. And the retired Gaia County Common Police Court judge, Dean Evans, relieve Meadows of further obligations and responsibilities towards Sims, and had appointed another Chillicothe-based attorney, Sean Stratson, to represent Sims. So, and then, because of him continuing to fail to appear, another bench warrant has been issued for his arrest.
Of course.
So
Kenneth.
he's still at large. So, if you're watching, Kenneth, I know you've commented on the page about coming on.
Yeah.
They're looking for you, I guess.
Yeah, they're looking for you, buddy.
So.
Yep.
Anyhow.
All right. Well, Jeremiah, thank you so much for hanging out with us this morning. And we always appreciate when you stop by and let us know the latest and greatest in news. So, all right. Well, have a great day, everyone. And we shall be back here tomorrow, I think, with some friends from 4-H. So that should be always a fun show. And we'll see you then. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye, everyone.